Hi, I'm Clésia Mendes, and welcome to Womanhood from the Inside Out. In this interview series, we'll be discovering and uncovering the nature of womanhood from the inside out. Why is it important? When does it show? How can we identify it? And what are the implications of womanhood from the inside out? And today's guest is my dear friend, Viva Aikins. Viva is the mom of two boys and enjoys spending every given possible moment with them. Professionally, she is a London bus driver who has won two awards. In addition, she's a very keen dancer and has traveled the world doing it. And currently, Viva is an aspiring coach and is fully immersed in the journey. Welcome, Viva. Hello, Viva. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Clésia. I can hear you, yes. I can hear you clearly.
Lovely. So, Viva, how did you first came across the inside out understanding of life?
Well, I was invited to a meetup group by one of my lovely friends, Kathy Simmons. And she was hosting an evening and had a gentleman there called Jamie Smart. And Jamie was doing a demonstration basically of the work that he does. And he, brings the inside out understanding basically in through, the principles behind clarity. So anyway, I was in the audience, as they say, and he asked he was going to do a demonstration, and I decided that I was going to be his guinea pig. I don't know why I put up my hand, but I do now know why I put up my hand, but then I had no idea. And we connected really beautifully. I found it a really profound experience. I just knew then and there that I wanted to know more about it, and then made a decision to join Jamie on a course that he does, a year course with clarity, principles behind clarity, coaching course, and that's how I could say stumbled upon it, really, to be honest.
And what sort of changes have you noticed or have you experienced for yourself from the before? Pretty much, how was your life before, and now how has been your life since you came across this understanding, or since you stumbled upon this understanding?
My life was all right. It was okay. Usual things: going to work, being with the children, enjoying my family, traveling when I could, kind of. And then on the side, really searching for something. And searching and chasing and constantly chasing. But it was a great journey chasing, because I got to travel around the world doing it. But, still, it didn't, I was still chasing and searching and searching. How this has changed my life is, the wonderful thing about it is now the search has ended. But it's continuous. It's now with depth. I'm understanding things with depth about myself. The peace that I experience now is phenomenal, really. The change that it's made to my children, to my partner, my friends and family, my work. It all happened so subtly. I didn't actually know it was happening. I didn't have an idea it was actually happening. And there were times when things happened, I thought, that would be something different. It's something different. I've never approached it in that way. So I'm more to say that I have the understanding of the misunderstanding. That's how I feel. Like I just thought, oh, I'm not getting this. Something's not quite right. I'm not quite getting this. And realized that there was actually nothing to get. And I already had what I was searching for. And I'd heard it many times from gurus and, all those teachers around the world that said, you have everything you need. And I was just like, yeah, okay, right. That's really great. That sounds amazing. I never really understood it. And now I have an understanding. And again, I have an understanding intellectually, yes, but I feel that depth of understanding within my being. And that's, it's continuous. It's continuous.
Yes, and I love the fact that you brought that up, because it's like for many of us, or some people call themselves seekers, or sometimes we're even seeking, even though we don't call ourselves seekers, right? And probably we read all the same books, and we know say things like, for example, one very well-known master who said, "The kingdom of heaven is inside of you," and you start thinking, okay, they definitely had it, but I don't. And there is a different depth and knowledge. One thing is to have the intellectual understanding of something, and the other thing is actually knowing it because you're experiencing. And once you get to that point, it becomes so natural. It's like being a fish in the ocean. You just swimming and immersed in this kind of knowledge and understanding. Now, Viva, can I ask, would you mind sharing a couple of examples where, for example, something that you would react usually you would react in a certain way, but then all of a sudden you just had an insight and something changed, and now you do things differently?
Definitely in my work. I can't tell you how many passengers I deal with every day. Hundreds, I expect, getting on and off the bus, let's say for an hour and a half journey one way. So usually I must say, when I started this job as a driver, it was a job. That's exactly what it was, just a job. I used to go every day. It would be all right. I wouldn't mind it. That's the stage I was at. I wouldn't mind going. I was thinking of ways of leaving and finding another job. Not realizing I'd only go in that job and then leave that as well. But I was thinking, I've got to find something to do now, because I'm not happy here. And then as time went on, as I was, getting more understanding of the understanding, I started to actually realize there were moments I was driving and I actually was enjoying that moment. Actually, this isn't that bad. So I realized, even if it was a glimpse, I was so present. I could feel the wheel in my hand. I could feel the motion of the bus turning and really enjoying that just simple swinging around the bend of a big bus, thinking, God, this is all right. And then it would vanish and I'd be back to my normal self. I got a glimpse of actually, it's actually that bad. And as time went on, I started to discover it's not necessarily the job that I really like doing. It's just actually being present and really looking at the whole thing, really enjoying the whole thing. I just thought, oh my goodness, what is going on here?
It seems there is a call. Can you hear that call?
Only 1 minute. I'm just kidding. This is what I mean. Don't know what's going to happen.
We never know what's going to happen. Exactly.
Okay, great. Sorry.
That's perfect as well. That makes part of the experience.
The truth about what happens. Yeah. Let's not pretend.
I said, and then the miracle occurs before we started recording. Yeah.
And then I started to notice the difference in myself in the way that I would connect with my passengers. That was a really big one, where passengers would come on and I would morning or yeah, it just changed the way they were. And I have passengers who are regular passengers. You know, if I'm doing a particular route for maybe a week, I'll see those same passengers, and then by the end of the third or fourth day, we're having a conversation. Now, for those passengers that used to get on that were not having great days, you know, that would be yelling or screaming, I receive them in a completely different way. I would receive them looking at them, and I would look thinking, I don't quite know what's going on here, but I can see you past this screaming and yelling. And then watching their response. Sometimes they would calm down, or sometimes they wouldn't, or they would get on the bus, or sometimes they would come back and apologize. Just because I wouldn't join in, you know, or answer back, or have a smart answer or something, you know. And that's when I realized, wow, this is amazing. It was pretty much just the same, like the connection that I had with Jamie that evening, where Jamie was kind of, he you know, I thought Jamie had done it, and of course he'd facilitated the space so beautifully, but he'd reminded me that it was actually me that did it for myself. And it was just like my passenger got on screaming, "You're late! Why are you late? I've been waiting here. It's raining. I have a rubbish day. It's your fault." You know, and it's just calmly not saying anything to him, or just apologizing, but seeing that he's just frustrated. And then him coming back and saying, "I'm just having a really bad day. I'm really sorry," and knowing that he did it for himself. It's just that's, you know, that's how it all moved. My colleagues at work, those that never really spoke to me, would maybe say something, you know, just moving around in that way. And yes, it's not like that every moment of the day. There are moments when I get caught out. I'm like, you know, they're screaming. I'm like, "Well, you're here on the bus now, aren't you?" You know, and I'm like, and then I have to check myself. I'll be like, okay, don't get involved. So, you know, it's not all, you know, beautiful flowers. I do, you know, sometimes think, you know, just chill out, you know. But I do see much, and I see it a lot quicker. I see it so much quicker than I've ever seen it before. That place of, it's cool. And it's all right. No matter what comes, it's perfect.
Yeah. I love what you just said. And what I heard in your story is that there are a kind of a difference between who the person really is and their behavior. And sometimes if you don't know any better, we just collapse both. And we think the person is their behavior. So if we see them, they are getting the bus regularly or something. A lot of the times we take snapshots of people. So if we see someone that smiles a lot, we just assume that they are happy all the time. If you see someone is grumpy, we assume they are grumpy all the time. But reality is that everyone, we experience several status because we are always experiencing our thinking moment to moment to moment, right? So once you start recognizing that as human beings, that's the way we perceive life via our thought, then you're not too attached to what sort of behavior they have in the moment. Is that what you're aiming at, or would be something different?
Bang on. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Absolutely.
And that's it. That reminds me of something that happened in the week. Basically, I was having a team meeting, and one of my business associates, she was stressed because she had some sort of challenge, blah, 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 a lot of drama. And very calmly, I basically, we addressed the issue because naturally she needed to release some steam, as we call it. And then I asked her in the end, I said, "Well, it seems you've got a lot of stressful thinking about it. Would you like some help with that?" And then she was like, "Go on." And I was like, "Okay." So based on your response, I assume you want to keep your drama. So that's fine. I'm quiet for now. And then she was like, no, I really want to know. And we engaged in a conversation, and it was less than 2 minutes. But I asked her a couple of questions, and it was within the context of the meeting. So all my other other business people, they were present. So I asked her a couple of questions, and I was so calm, and I said, "Okay, these are a couple of options that we can look through that will help to solve your problem." and it's up to you. You can take it or leave it. And either way, I'm absolutely fine.
Mm.
And then the rest of the day went on, and then she came back to me, and she was feeling a lot calmer. And then someone asked me, "Oh, there is this other meeting with a couple of big wigs. Would you like to go and represent us?" Well, unfortunately, I already had something else scheduled in my diary. But it's kind of that for me. It was so new that in a sense that I've made a suggestion, but I wasn't attached to the fact if the person would accept my suggestion or not. I said, okay, it's your life. These are a couple of suggestions. You know, if you want to help use them, that's great. But if not, it's great as well. And my personal worth was not attached to whatever they chose. And that I felt that very liberating.
Mm. Absolutely. Yeah, that makes that makes complete sense. Absolutely. I also with my children, which is really funny because I talk about it often.
Mm-hmm.
And if I say, "Come on, we're getting late for school. You got to get your things," and they go, "Mommy, I think you're having, anxiety thoughts." And I just think, who taught them this? How do I teach them this? And it's not that I've said it. I mean, clearly I must have said it some way, but it's like, my youngest says, "Mum, just chill out. If we're late, it's not the end of the world, really, is it?" And I just think, wow, it's
Yeah,
effective.
that's beautiful. How old are your kids?
10 and 7.
10 and 7, yeah. And they also have their own wisdom because of it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's very powerful. It's changed my life. I sometimes I don't recognize myself. I think, really? Wow. You're not getting stressed about this thing, or if you, then I can quickly see it quicker than I've ever seen it before. Sometimes it may take me half a day, but it's fine, And what's been so poignant for me is that it's actually okay. It's okay to go through. This is where I was struggling, that it wasn't okay to be there, and I needed to get it fixed and then get involved in it, then try and fix it from an involved place. Never made any sense. Whereas now it's fine, and that's what's helped me a lot, to know that actually, okay, I'm here. I'm having a few issues here at this moment in time. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then before I realized, without realizing, it's kind of dropped.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is great because I don't know, some people may be watching this episode and they're thinking, "Oh, does it mean that you are peaceful all the time and you're zen and nothing can hurt you, blah blah blah?" And I was just thinking, we're not talking about passivity over here. What we are talking is about understanding the experience of life, how we experience life, and being smart about it. And this is what I mean. In reality, because we are always feeling our thinking moment to moment to moment, if you're getting agitated feeling, that gives us automatically in the moment we get to recognize that we're getting agitated thinking. So the clue is in the sort of experience you're having at the moment. And I would say that smart thing to do is that if you're getting anxious thinking and therefore you experience anxiety, probably is not a good time to make any really highly important decisions because you're not thinking straight.
Straight. And that's
You're not thinking straight. That is one of my ex-boyfriends used to say that a lot. I wasn't thinking straight. And back in the time, I didn't know about the inside out nature of life. So that annoyed me greatly. But it was correct. He wasn't thinking straight.
I'm not thinking straight. Absolutely. That's not the best time to make a decision, although, it happens. And you're right. It isn't being in a place of, flowers and skipping lovely in the meadows. It isn't. I have my moments. I have my times. I have my days. But it's how involved I get with it that I feel is changed for me. How much I get involved with it. there was a passenger the other day that stumbled on the bus, and I calmly stopped the bus. And now normally I'd be like, oh my God, do I call the ambulance? Oh, I'd be in it with all the passengers. Oh my God, she's fallen. Oh, you've been driving too fast. And I'll be trying to make sure that I don't get myself in trouble. No, I wasn't going that fast. Everything's fine, And the other day it happened, and I was just like, okay, put the tannoy on. I said, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, we're going to be out here for a few moments. In a little accident, we'll get it sorted. There's a bus behind if you need to get going. It was just, I was like, who is this girl? Usually I'll be like, and the lady just said, oh no, I'm fine. I only just tripped. I didn't actually fall, and it wasn't you. I just tripped. And it wasn't that. It was just the fact of how I reacted to it all. Because usually I would go into a straight panic. How can I make sure that I don't get myself into trouble here? How can I make sure that this lady's okay? Do we need an ambulance? I've got it all thinking way ahead. Mm-hmm. Am I going to be able to pick up my children? Because now this poor lady's going to have to the ambulance, and I'm going to have to wait police maybe. Then I'm going to have to write a report. All that was going in my head usually. But this time it was like, let's check she's okay. Do you need medical attention? It was right there. It was right there. I was right there with this lady. I was right there with the incident. And I didn't feel stressed about it at all. It wasn't until after it happened, she sat down and I was driving, did I kind of start to shake a little bit? Because I thought, oh, this is what's just happened, and realised that I'd gone through it. And then I was okay. But even just these tiny little things like that I've noticed, that's where the change is.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, that sort of state of mind, how useful it can be to all professions, really, to everyone, because a lot of the errors that are made in most of the professions are human errors, because a lot of people have busy thinking. Maybe they are tired, they are thinking about things ahead that happened in the past, that may happen in the future, and they're not present in the moment. And many of the human errors would be dropped and would reduce, and that would increase firstly, I don't have data to prove this. It's just an insight that I had right now, but probably would increase retention of staff, right? Because if there is a profession that is highly stressful, there is more likely that people keep leaving the job, and they always keep getting new people. So potentially they will have more retention and stuff, and people in general would have a more enjoyable experience of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's filtering in a lot, it's filtering. It's also, I can't see what's going on. I just know it's happening. That's the beauty of it. It's like something underneath that's working. When all of a sudden, poof, it arrives. Oh, I see it. Just when I think I've seen it, I think, oh yeah, I know it. When I realise, actually, I don't know it at all. I still don't know it as I think I do. But like, oh yeah, I get that. That's oh, I'm so joy. Oh, I got that. And then I realised, oh my goodness, I didn't get that at all.
And
yeah.
And I'm glad you've made that comment. In your understanding, what does the inside-out nature of life means to you?
I'm so sorry. You blacked out there. I think we had a disconnection, so I didn't hear the question.
Okay, that's fine. Let's reconnect then. So my question was, in your understanding, the way you see it at the moment, what does the inside-out of nature of life means to you? How do you see it?
Clésia, it's unbelievable, but it happened again.
Oh dear, we're having one of those.
Yeah, I didn't hear a single thing you said. Is he coming in right at the end?
Okay. Let's try a different question.
Yeah, I think it's more connection.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about connection instead then.
Okay.
So what has been your experience of connection since you came across the inside-out understanding of life?
My very, very first understanding of connection was that you don't need many words to connect. that was my understanding when it first happened. That was the experience I had with Jamie. Jamie said nothing to me. It was dead quiet. We were both quiet for quite a few minutes. And that's, you know, you don't always need words to have that connection. I guess that's what connection is. Sometimes it's just that we communicate to get to that place sometimes, I guess. But we are capable of connecting without words. Yeah, it's a very powerful thing, and to connect. I mean, we do it without realizing, don't we? Sometimes, I mean, that's what we do. We connect. We're human beings. We connect with one another.
Yeah. I really like that, and I was thinking for some of our audience, if they're not too sure about what we're talking when we refer to connection. Ever happened to you that you're hanging out with someone and you just really like being around them? You don't know exactly why, but you just like their vibe. That is what we're talking about. There's sort of connection. Yeah.
That's you hang out with someone, you feel like you've known them for forever. You know, you like the same thing. Sometimes you don't like the same thing. You know, they got a vibe about them that you love hanging out with. Yeah, exactly that's it. It's a vibe.
Yeah. So the experience, that is one of the things that really made a difference for me, since I came across this understanding I actually came across back in 2011, but I started getting a deeper experience of connection. What that has changed for me back in September of 2015, because I love people. I'm a people person. I'm very sociable. I like my time for myself, for reflection, but I just love people, and I'm very curious, and I want to know everything I can about them and what they like and all sorts. But my experience of connection with people has changed and has deepened. And it's difficult to describe because it's a metaphor, but it's just a knowing, an inner knowing of how much we've got in common, right? And it goes beyond the way we look, it goes beyond the way we sound, it goes beyond our background. And it's just that knowing, it's that a feeling. And yes, my experience completely changed, and I absolutely love that. And it's not with everyone. Like me, I get glimpses, and some people I feel really connected, and some people I don't feel. And the breakthrough for me has been that before September 2015, I never experienced that before. No, actually, I did experience with a few people, and for example, and with babies. I love babies. And pets. I love dogs. So yeah, so I get to experience communion with dogs and babies. Yes.
Dogs and babies. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, I like kittens as well. Now that I'm thinking of it.
You like puppies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, connection. Yeah, what a beautiful feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, and for a moment I felt really, really peaceful, and I felt no need for further words, really. So it seems that you have been doing a photo shoot because there is a very special campaign coming about. Can you talk about it, or is it still a secret?
Well, it's not a secret anymore.
Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, the campaign, basically, what's happening at present is drivers are being sent to a 2-day training course on customer service. So what's going on there with drivers and passengers. It hasn't been so great, you know, in the last couple of years. But then there have been some great, you know, comments that people have made about drivers. But it seems that there's been some sort of stigma attached to bus drivers. You know, you ask a lot of people about bus drivers, they go, oh, yeah, you know. So they wanted to also bring in the public and involve them too. So although we've gone for training, they're also kind of quietly training the passengers. So what they've decided is to have some photos or pictures, or posters is the word actually I'm looking for, in and around the bus stations, the bus garages, bus stops, of drivers who show that they enjoy their work, and there are drivers out there that are helpful and that they love their jobs. So that's the campaign that's out there. So they've decided, they got about 4 drivers. They got me and 3 other gentlemen, I think, from 3 other bus companies, me, and we are now down as the faces of the bus industry for London.
Oh my God. So that means you're now a celebrity.
If you want to put it that way. We don't label things. We don't label things, Clésia. That's not real.
Yes. Can fill it off.
But yeah, so I'll be posted around London basically on billboards, possibly. I'm not sure about billboards actually, but they're definitely on bus stops and places where people get their buses in and around London. So yeah,
that's wonderful. So if you come across Viva, say hi. Say, hey, I've seen you on Womanhood from the Inside Out. How are you doing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It would be lovely. It would be lovely to connect. Absolutely.
And Viva, something that I'm really curious about as well. So you did mention that you're a dancer, you're a keen dancer, and you travel the world doing that. Until I received your bio, I had no idea. So tell me a little bit more about dance. How did you first come?
No, it's something that I did at school and I really loved. I've always done it. Children, we just dance. But it was a place that I could go to that I didn't need to explain myself. I could just move my body. And I didn't have to try and communicate about it. So for me, that was perfect. I wasn't a child that spoke very much. So dancing was the way that I communicated with myself and also doing it with my friends. So when I was at school, I was part of the dance scene. I came from a background where my family, especially my father's like, look, you're here to get better, good education. Dancing, you can do that anywhere, and I'm just quite sad about it. So I used to dance after school. God bless my father, he's not alive anymore. He never knew this before he died, but I used to dance quietly after school for about 5 years.
Wow.
He never knew. And I did dance as an exam as well. I did it as my O levels, and I just absolutely love it. So I've been experimenting with different types of dance. I'd go to a South American venue and I would dance, how they do in South America, or I would go to, pick up on different African dances, because each country in the continent has different ways of dancing. So I would, do that, pick up on that kind of dancing too. Then I moved into this great movement. It's actually more of a movement called 5 Rhythms, which I love. It's a great way to bring forth that knowing within you, and the body knows exactly what to do, and it brings the messages through, whatever you need, whatever's going on in your life at that moment. The body expresses it, and it brings it through, and whatever emotion comes with it, you just express it. It's phenomenal. I love it. So then I started doing workshops of 5 Rhythms. Then I started doing biodance. I don't know if you've heard of biodance, but again, that's a movement that you do with others. It's a bit calmer, and you do it ages. I did it from ages between 25 to 90-year-old people I was dancing with. It was phenomenal. And then I traveled, and as I traveled, wherever I would travel, I'd make sure I'd find somewhere to dance. So when I was in America, I lived in America, I would go there, and all different types of dances, different types of cultures, whether it was Asian, whether it was African, whether it was European, anything, I would go. Then I went to Australia, did the same thing. I just love it. I just love it. So that's what I do in my spare time, whatever that means. I always find somewhere to dance. And yeah, my children and I dance in our living room often. Their dad, we just dance all the time. They love it too. So, and they're quite shy, but when we're at home, they're really good at it. They do movements that are quite shocking to the eye sometimes. They're like, oh God, I promise I didn't teach them that. They have their own wisdom, remember. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love to dance and have met wonderful people around the world dancing and doing it.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I had no idea about your passion, and it really comes across. I felt it while you were sharing. So next weekend, I'm going down to London because it will be the summer school. Will you be there?
I will be there. Every single day. We got 3 days.
For the 3 days. So maybe you can teach me a couple of dance movements. I'll see if I can get some music going.
That would be great. The thing is about this kind of dance, which has changed for me, because before, yes, I used to do contemporary dancing. So there, and I did street dancing as well. So I would be in a lot of shows in central London, and I would practice night after night after night with routines. But now I don't do so much routines. It's pretty much like the innate, it's like whatever's going on in here, you dance. So it's something I won't be able to teach you because it's something that you already are capable of doing.
Even better. So we can start a new movement, innate dancing.
Dance. I'm sure people will be happy to dance. Whether they realize it or not, they love to dance.
I love that. Viva, I'm loving this conversation. I'm kind of feeling that we're coming to a close today. How can people reach you?
They can reach me by my email address, which is vivalaviva@hotmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I am on Facebook. Try and find me on Facebook. Just Viva Aikins on Facebook.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You stick it in the search and then you look. Is that how it works?
Yes. And I'll add a link on the YouTube page. That's wonderful. So for me, if people would like to reach me, you can go straight to Facebook. So that would be facebook.com/Clésia.Mendes. And I'll spell that for you. So that would be facebook.com/CLESIA.MENDES. Or if you prefer, you can go directly to my website, which it is www.clesiamendes.com. Now, Viva, what would be your parting words for our audience today?
Oh. For me, it would be trust. Trust. That is something that that's how it all started for me. Just trust. That's what I went to Jamie with. Trust. When I put my hand up, I was like, I trust. That's what I want to know about trust, and just trust, because it's there. It's already there. Just trust.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Viva. And for our audience, I'll see you again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.